sounded great. It's a nice full sound. So, welcome to the 6th edition of Listen Up Illinois. Today I have as my guest the Dulcimer class from Parkland College, taught by Hillary Valentine. And I'd like to welcome you all here today. If I could start by asking you a question, can you talk a little bit about the history of the Dulcimer?
Sure. It's an Appalachian instrument, and I've heard that it's the only true American instrument, although I think it has its roots in some of the Norwegian stringed instruments like the zither. And people have been playing it for hundreds of years.
All right. And you're still learning how to play it, right?
That's right. It's taken me a long time.
Want to do your next tune?
Sure. The first one we did was a medley. These are like the first two songs that I usually teach, Boil Them Cabbage Down and Great Cat on a Tennessee Roof. And the next one we're going to do, Are You Sleeping, as a round. And here we go. In unison.
Lullaby, I guess. No?
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about how you have the dulcimers tuned?
Oh, sure. We're tuned, most of us are tuned in DAD, and I think that's a more modern tuning. When you go to dulcimer festivals now, that's what people are usually tuned in. I think it has most flexibility when it comes to chording. But the two ladies sitting next to me play in DAA, which is a more traditional tuning. And if you'll notice that Bert is playing with a noter. She puts that down on the strings to fret rather than using fingers, and that's another traditional style of playing. But we play in DAD. I can capo up to, which tunes it into a minor key, and sometimes we'll tune one of our melody string down to C and do some minor tunes as well.
Can you talk a little bit about you said the melody string, and then you have, how many strings are on there? You know, people may not know.
We think of it as 3 strings, but I actually have 5 strings on mine. I've got a double bass string, a middle string, and the melody string, which is the string that's closest to you. And the reason that that one's doubled is to give it a stronger, louder sound, so you can hear the melody. The other 2 strings mostly function as drones. And especially in the traditional style of playing, where you're not, with the noter, you're not fretting them at all. But contemporary playing now, people chord while they play.
Kind of like a bagpipe sound in a way. You have a drone.
It sounds a lot like a bagpipe.
Yeah, okay, well,
I think that's a good thing.
It takes a lot less wind, I guess.
That's true. Sometimes your arm gets tired.
You want to do another tune?
Sure. The next song we were going to do was going to feature our traditional players here. They're going to play Green Corn, and you'll see Bert using the noter, and then the rest of the group is going to join them in on Wildwood Flower, and then we'll stop and they'll play Green Corn one more time. So take us away, ladies.
So, how long have people been playing? Is everybody in the class new to the instrument? Or some people have been playing longer, or?
Yeah, I think it varies. I've been playing for about 5 years, and you two have
I've
been
been
playing
playing for over 25 years.
1 year? 1 year, sorry. Now, how long did it take you before you could actually play a tune on the Dulcimer?
One class.
Just one class, so.
We start out with some simple tunes so I've got everybody playing songs right away.
So it's fairly easy to learn, at least as far as being able to play.
I think it's easy to learn the basics, and then you can spend your lifetime getting better at it.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of different tunings that sometimes people use, and different, some people play chords and other people just play the melodies. So, yeah, you can certainly expand on that, but just to be able to learn something that you can go home and play and enjoy for yourself, I guess you can learn that fairly quickly. And
That's what we try for, to make it fun. Because if it's hard and frustrating, then you won't practice and you won't enjoy coming back and playing.
Right. So, why don't you talk a little bit about the class
Okay.
and how people can get into the class, how often the class is taught.
Okay. I've been teaching beginning Dulcimer through Parkland. I think this is the 4th year. And I teach it it's Mondays in October, so the next class starts October 6th, and it goes for 4 Mondays. And it's from 7 to 8:30 on Monday evenings. And then after that, we will continue. It's free, it's just on an informal basis. We meet at Phyllis's house in Urbana the first Monday of the month, just to keep your skills going and getting together for just the joy of group music making. And then in spring, in April, I do an advanced beginning or an intermediate class. So lots of the people here have been through this more than once.
Okay. So basically you teach the class 2 times a year, in the fall.
Right, the fall for beginners and the spring for a little bit more advanced.
Okay.
And then we keep meeting all year round, first Monday of the month. There's also a 3rd Thursday, is that right? 3rd Thursday at the Urbana Library. So there's 2 opportunities a month to get together and play Dulcimer.
Right. And what time is, on the 3rd Thursday, is it at the library? What time is it?
7 to 9.
7 to 9. And that group's been together quite a while.
Yeah. At least 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I'm talking decades here.
Okay, well, you want to do another tune?
Sure. Oh boy, I got In the Pines on there, and I said I'd sing. You're in for a treat. All righty, let's see. We're gonna sing In the Pines. Anybody feel free to join me. And then James is gonna do the first break on the guitar, and then the dulcimers and mandolin will play the second break. Verse and chorus. Oh, no, just verse for the break. All right. We're pretty informal, as you see. There we go.
job.
Lovely, lovely. Well, we talked about the class, but how would a person get into the class?
Class. The easiest thing to do is go to the Parkland website and go to the community education link. If you click on that, there's contact information. It's probably easiest just to call that number and ask them how to get into the class, and they'll sign you up and figure it all out, make it easy for you.
Well, and then the next class after this show actually airs will be the spring class, so that'll be for the more advanced. So if there's people out there that are already playing, they can go to the spring class. Otherwise, they'll have to wait till next fall
Yeah, that's
in
right.
October. Or
You
I
gotta
guess,
think about the time
Yeah.
delay.
yeah. How about the Dulcimer Club? Now, can they go to the Dulcimer Club if they're a beginner, or is there?
We take everybody, and you don't even have to play the dulcimer, as you can see.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, anybody can come to Phyllis's house on the first Monday of the month, or the Urbana Library on the third Thursday. And if you want more information, the easiest thing to do is email me at hillaryk@hotmail.com.
Yeah, that'll be on the screen for people to see.
Okay.
Well, what do you like about playing the dulcimer? What do people like about the instrument?
Well, for me, I also play dulcimer, but for the group, I usually play the guitar. And what I like about it is its simplicity. To me, because I play several instruments, but yet the dulcimer to me just, it's a simple, fun instrument. It's what you make it.
What about the rest of you? What keeps you
It's
coming
simple
back?
to play, and I like Appalachian history and songs and crafts and stuff, and this is certainly a tie to that.
Right.
Now, this might be a little deep. I've always, for years and years and years, wanted to play the dulcimer. I never had the opportunity, but the sound truly touches my soul.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It does.
I had a theory. When I started playing dulcimer, I found out about a dulcimer festival up in Gebhardt Woods near Morris, Illinois, and I went up there, and it was so, I can't even, my soul was just filled with music. It was just so wonderful. And I just had this theory that there were people all over the place who had picked up dulcimers when they were traveling, through Branson, through Kentucky, through Appalachian areas, and they were told that it's a really easy instrument. And I had a feeling there were a lot of them hanging on walls or hidden away in closets. And so I decided I would go ahead and try and teach a beginner class. And I think I had 16 people the first time, and I've had 15 to 16 every time since then. So my theory so far is correct. There are a lot of dulcimers out there that people just didn't know how to play. And I think it really helps to come into the group and just learn some of the basics to get you going.
How many people are in the club there?
It varies. It's the most disorganized club I've ever saw.
I bet you have competition for that title. These are the main people who show up at Phyllis's. So,
I had up to 17 people.
yeah.
Well, let's have another
Okay.
beautiful tune.
Okay, we're going to do Clementine as a duet. And we'll play that through in unison once, and then Judy and Pat will go into harmony, and we'll play that twice, okay? Get my music. We try to play by ear, but a lot of us really like our music too. Here we go. Ready, play.
So how do you how do you decide what tunes you're gonna play? Do
Well-
you pick them, or do people say, I heard this song or this tune and I wanna learn how to play it, or?
Some of that, but a lot of times I try and find songs that are familiar but not too childish. And I also like to make sure that we're learning tunes that are in the old-time fiddle repertoire, like Whiskey Before Breakfast and Over the Waterfall and things like that. And also I'm a big Carter Family fan, so I try and make sure we get Carter Family tunes in there too. But trying to expand people's repertoire, because those aren't necessarily tunes that are that familiar. So I try and have a mix of things that are familiar, so you can kind of pick that up by ear, but also tunes that I think are important for everybody to know.
And there's a website.
That's true.
You can download tablature from everythingdulcimer.com.
Right.
There's a wealth of information on there. There's hundreds of tunes that people have tabbed out and put out there.
Yeah, the internet as usual is.
Yeah, that's a
is full of-
particularly good website. You can learn
Everything
a ton.
Dulcimer, so that's pretty easy to remember,
Yeah.
everythingdulcimer.com.
That's it.
And did you have a special guest yet, or is that?
Special guest? Special guest is declining his opportunity.
Okay, well, push that then. You gonna do that?
Play, how about Whiskey Before Breakfast? So we're talking about fiddle tunes? Ready, play. Got a little confused between A and B
Yeah.
parts, but it kind of worked out. We ended together.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock or 10:45 in the morning, so maybe you had some.
That's right.
So where would a person, if they wanted to buy a Dulcimer, is there anywhere, I mean, is there anywhere local that they could do it, or would they have to go on the internet? or-
Does anybody have luck?
The most local, like McSpadden Dulcimer dealer is down in Arthur.
Arthur.
And, you know, the internet's also a good resource.
I really like the festivals to buy dulcimers, because then you can go, you can try them out, and they're usually made by really, really skilled craftsmen who've been doing it for many years, and they put a lot of love into their work. And how many of you bought yours from festivals? Yeah, this one. In fact, her dulcimer was made by the same artisan who made this one. What's his name?
Bill Berg.
Bill Berg.
He's in
But
Columbus,
maybe
Indiana.
20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
He made hers, and I got mine 2 or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So
There's also, we drove all the way to Nashville, Indiana
Oh,
to
yeah.
get my husband's.
And I think his is made by Bill Berg also.
I don't know whether it's McSpadden or, but I think it's a McSpadden.
Can the camera, they're so beautiful. If we hold them up, can the camera see them?
You can see them, they can't really do a close-up,
Does that
but
help?
they can.
Okay. Because one of the things that's so cool when you go to festivals and you see the dulcimers, they're all beautiful and they're all so different.
Yep.
Just really, really pretty instruments. I've actually even seen them at Walmart occasionally.
Well, I know they have the kits, you can get them cardboard, you know, if you really don't want to spend a lot of money, I guess, and you just want to try it out, they have those cardboard.
And they're
kits.
not, they actually sound pretty nice. They have a big full sound. I wouldn't take them out in the rain.
That might be a little hard to tune in high humidity.
It might.
Okay, well,
Another tune? What's next? Give Me the Roses. When you're talking about the Carter family, this is a Carter family tune. We're just going to play it instrumentally. It's called Give Me the Roses. And we'll play it in unison once, and then James will have a lead, verse and chorus. And then mandolin will have a lead, and then we will do unison with harmony, Judy and Pat, okay? Give Me the Roses. Pretty tune.
well, James, why don't you tell us a little bit about that instrument that you're playing?
This is an autoharp. It's a handmade autoharp by a guy by the name of Chuck Daniels, and he is based out of Mountain View, Arkansas. What's kind of different, between like the handmade ones and then the commercial made ones is, the quality, just like, Hillary and everybody else's dulcimers, they've got, the quality is, really good, and they have nice little features like, notice there's these little black things on the bottom, and those are fine tuners, and, I can use like a little Allen wrench and sort of tweak the tuning, and I don't have to use a wrench up here. And plus, I can, have it tuned differently. So I have this one tuned to play in the keys of D, G, and A, which is, you know,
Works
works
well
out
with
with our
Dulcimer,
group,
so-
actually, yeah.
So you can actually change the tunings on that.
You know, there's the standard tuning, which, you know, can support, you know, the keys of like B flat and F and C and G, but, you know, once, you know, you start trying to add in keys like G, D, and A, they just sound so weak that, you know, people have devised different tuning schedules over the years and still evolving.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So like commercial ones, you can't really do that with those?
You can, but by the time you get done doing all that, you might as well just get one that's, you know, made for you. You know, because,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not knocking the commercial made ones by any, you know, means, you know, because there are many fine players that, you know, have them, but, you know, usually takes a whole new set of springs and new chord bars, et cetera.
So you'd have to have 2 or 3 dulcimers so that you could change tunings if you
There you go.
were, or 2 or 3 autoharps,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not dulcimers, 2 or 3 autoharps.
Yeah.
To change tunings back and forth. But yeah, it's a beautiful instrument. The
Thank
wood is
you.
very nice on it.
And I really love having different instruments playing with the dulcimers. And one of the things that I try to do right off the bat is teach beginning dulcimer players how to play a few chords. So if you know how to play a D chord, a G chord, and an A chord, you can play hundreds of songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just nice that we can all play together.
Yeah, good. Why don't you tell us about, since we have another instrument here, why don't you tell us about that
This
one?
is a Gibson mandolin. The stringing is exactly the same as a violin. And it sounds good with dulcimers.
Yeah, very good, sounds real nice. And are you gonna, I see you have this banjo mandolin here too, are you gonna play that here?
Yes.
Shortly?
I'm gonna play that.
That's another interesting
And that's,
sound.
sounds like a banjo, but it's strung like a mandolin.
Right.
There are also banjo dulcimers. We don't have any with us today, but Diane has one. It's kind of cool. Has a nice sound.
A different sound to it, I guess, yeah. Well, let's hear another.
Okay, we're gonna do a duet on an old, I think this is an old campfire song called Peace Like a River. And we're gonna do it in unison once and then break into harmony. Okay? One more time. It's beautiful.
So is most of the dulcimer music out there, is it all generally tabbed?
There's a lot of dulcimer tabbed, yes, and on everythingdulcimer.com.
Yeah. And I guess what we're talking about tablature, for people that don't understand what that is, can we?
Explain what it is? Sure.
Compared to like notated music?
Well, one of the nice things about the dulcimer tablature, it usually has standard notation with tablature right below it. And what tablature is, it shows you what fret and what string you're playing. So there'll be a, boy, that's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Visually,
I don't know if you can
I don't know if
see
you
it or
can
not.
see this, but underneath the standard notation, there are 3 strings here. And one represents the melody string, the middle string, and the bass string. And then when it says 0, that means you're playing an open string. The melody, when it has X, it means you're not playing those strings at all. And then, so it'll go 0, 1, 2, and that means you're playing the 2nd fret of the melody string. So it tells you exactly where to play which note, on which string and which fret.
And which finger to use.
And which finger, yes. Well,
Sometimes.
Fingering is optional.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll tell you which fingers if it's tricky. So, yeah, tablature, I like it, I think it's kind of confusing, but if you don't read music, it's really, really helpful.
Yeah. Is that usually how you teach in your class with the tablature? Is it with
I don't know, what do you think? I usually do both.
Yeah.
I really like to, especially at the very beginning, encourage people to try plunking out things by ear. But some people don't read music, so we just have to figure it out. Everybody's a little different. I think Bert and Diane do everything by ear, don't you?
We started with tab, though.
Uh-huh. And moved and graduated past it. Graduated from tab to ear. It's a big step.
I know, Diane, you're playing more chords, it seems like.
Some chords, yeah. Little simple partial chords. Nice thing about the way the dulcimer is tuned, it provides the chords for you, and you just add on.
You add on the chord to the melody, is that what you're doing, Pam?
Well, this is the melody, but these little guys, these drones, they're a really simple harmony basis for the chords to be formed from. So I only usually use like 2 fingers to form. I don't know if it's even an authentic chord. Try it? I don't know what it is.
A chord is a chord.
Yeah.
Chord's a chord.
Yeah.
But it adds a little bit
Mhm.
different sound to the melody.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what we can do is we can play melody on some tunes. Well, if you don't know the melody, you can just follow along the chording at the top of the song. So that's a way of playing before you're advanced enough to pick out melodies. I'm a real big hands-on person. Let's just keep playing, whatever your level.
So let's play another tune.
Yeah, okay. We have Oh Susanna and Camptown Races medley. These are Stephen Foster tunes. They're very popular with dulcimer players. So we're going to do Oh Susanna, AABB, Camptown Races AB, and Oh Susanna AABB. Here we go.
The sound of that banjo mandolin. How old is that instrument, do you think?
I
Yeah,
really
it-
don't know, but I expect about 50 years old.
Yeah, I know they were popular kind of early in the 1900s. They were popular kind of with the mandolin orchestras back in those days.
I purchased it from somebody else, so I really don't know how old it is.
Yeah, you don't often see them around.
No.
I would say Phyllis has just about one of every musical instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometime you'll have to join us on one of our Monday night sessions because she's got a.
It looks like a music store.
It is, she's got a vibraphone and, what else have you got there? Guitars and fiddles and ocarinas, yes, every stringed instrument I've ever seen.
You play all of them?
At the same time.
One band. Okay, well.
Next?
Plug it away.
All right. The next song we're gonna do is my absolute favorite Dulcimer tune of all time. That's why I play it on the tin whistle. South Wind. All right. This is so pretty. Isn't that pretty?
That's very pretty. I'm about out of questions unless you have anything you want to add. You can just keep playing.
Yeah, we have a few more songs. I don't know what, we have
Oh,
like
we
10
got-
more minutes?
Oh, we got more than that if we need it.
Okay. I just would like to encourage anybody who's interested in playing dulcimer to get in contact with us. It's really fun. And my goal would just be to get you to where you can go to dulcimer festivals and have a little bit of knowledge of what you might play in a jam session and so you have the fundamentals, so when you can go into the workshops, you can keep building on your skills. And I know probably all of you have gone to some of these workshops, haven't you? No, well, you need to do that. They
I
are
know,
so
but I
much
won't
fun.
even have it a year.
But there are dulcimer, I call it like a subculture. There's just a lot of people who play, and there's actually a few people that make their living at it, believe it or not. And there's a really good player nearby called Mike Anderson, who's also a storyteller. He makes the rounds a bit and teaches quite a lot. There's week-long camps. So you just start looking on the internet if you're interested in dulcimer. There's a lot of resources out
I
there.
know Mike has a website on
Yeah, the Dulcimer Guy.
the
Yeah.
dulcimerguy.com, right?
That's it.
So,
That's
yeah.
it. Well, I was going to put on my capo and play a couple of minor tunes so you could hear the difference. Capoing a dulcimer is kind of weird. It's not like capoing a guitar where everything's the same. It actually changes the tuning. And even though, like, I could capo up and play in G, but then the frets are like different sizes, so it's disorienting. So capoing is kind of its own little mysterious thing.
So that puts it into a minor key just
Yep.
by cabling it up there.
Yes. And it's also tricky to get it to sound okay. See what I mean?
It throws the tuning out a little bit.
It throws the tuning out, and it also, you just have to get it right on there. It's twangy. That's better. I squeezed 4 songs in there.
And what tunes were they then?
Let's see, I started out with Cluck Old Hen, and then I did Wayfaring Stranger, and then Reuben's Train, sometimes known as 500 Miles, and Shady Grove. So we can also do those tunes by lowering your melody string to a C, and that's how I usually teach it, because cabling is so weird. But you can do it either way.
Oh, another tune.
More tunes. Oh, you don't have any more questions for me? You could talk a little bit about, when I said AABB, that's kind of the structure of fiddle music, AABB.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's usually 2 parts to the tune, and you play each part twice. So the first part, of course, is the A part. The second part is the B part. So if you play the first part twice, it's AA. If you play the second part twice, it's BB. And occasionally, there's a third part. They'll throw a C in there. Or some tunes have 4 parts, but usually they do that. You don't always play each of the other parts twice. So for a tune that's 2 parts, it's AABB.
And I think it's a little bit different because I think Americans in general are used to verse and chorus. So the AABB takes a little bit of getting used to. As we saw in Whiskey Before Breakfast. Yes. That's right. Okay, well, we're going to play Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is another Carter family tune, and another fun tune for Dulcimer. I've got everybody playing in unison, and then an auto harp lead, and then a mandolin lead, and play it again in unison. All right, ready? And we have a couple more prepared for you. Hey, Daniel, are you interested in playing Old Joe Clark?
Trying to get, Hillary's son is here, and she's being real shy
He's a first
today.
grader, and he knows how to play Old Joe Clark on the Dulcimer, and he said he would do it, but now that he's here, he sees all these microphones and scary people.
It is scary.
So you're stuck with us. All right, we're going to do another little medley, Oh, When the Saints Go Marching In and Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and kind of try to show that a lot of different kinds of music can be played on the Dulcimer. And I should also mention Patrick over there, who likes to play along on drum and also sings with us when we're not on camera. All right, here we go. Ready? Again.
coming today and doing the show. And remind people again, the class is at Parkland College. It's a community education class taught in the fall and in the spring. And also about the Dulcimer Club meetings on which?
Third Thursdays.
The third Thursday of the month at the Urbana Free Library. You can certainly go there and link up with the Dulcimer people and listen. You can listen, participate, whichever you want. So I think you're going to take us out with a beautiful, well-known hymn. Huh?
We are, and as you may have noticed that we've been strumming all this time, and on this one we're going to finger pick and strum. So this is another way that you can play the dulcimer and exchange your skills. So we'll finger pick and then join in strumming, all right? Somebody gonna finger pick with me?
I'll try.
All right, here we go.